the relevance of the science ethnobotany with other subjects. So that is nothing but the ethnobotany as an interdisciplinary science. How can we say ethnobotany has interrelation with other branches of science as well as humanities? If you want to study ethnobotany, or if you want to well understand the ethnobotany, you have to draw the knowledge from other branches of science as well as humanities. So the last boy also joined. Sai Kiran, there are seven. Who is that seventh one? Sai Kiran, Anil Kumar, Murali. Murali is two times on the. What is the how this is multiplied? I don't know. See, Murali, your name is multiplying, repeated. Okay, you can see. Okay. Then, for the better understanding of ethnobotanical studies, you have to draw the knowledge from other branches of science and humanities also. It is obvious from these definitions what we have learned yesterday, the definitions of ethnobotany. By nature, it means ethnobotany is an interdisciplinary science drawing the information from different branches like anthropology. You know what is anthropology? Anthropology is nothing but the study of history and evolution of human beings. So in the course of evolution, man has developed from his uncivilization to civilization. So these primitive people or ethnic people or aboriginals are mostly uncivilized people. So if you want to know these uncivilized people has different cultural and social economical strategies, different races, different tribes. So these different races and different tribes have been evolved from different ancestral stocks, from different ancestral stack. If you want to well understand their origin, affinities, and their lifestyles comes under ethnology. Or ethnology as a whole consists of the origin, affinities, and their lifestyles. So, if you want to know all these origin, affinities, and lifestyles, or if you can say in one word that ethnology of ethnic people, you must know the anthropology. You must have an idea on anthropology. You must have the knowledge, at least minimum knowledge or awareness on anthropology. And the second one is agriculture. The agricultural systems are also different from the civilized people. They they follow or they practice this Podu cultivation. This Podu cultivation. Podu cultivation is practiced at hilly areas, especially at hilly areas, where the water falls and goes easily down. So such areas are selected and they practice some crop. After that, they will shift to another place. So there they will cultivate some other crop which is favorable there, which is suitable there. After that, they will go another place. Like that, this is known as shift or shifted cultivation or Podu cultivation. So, due to this Podu cultivation and shifted cultivation, a great impact is there on mountains and forest areas. So you have to know the agricultural practices. And the other one is archaeology. What is archaeology? So you can see the archaeological remains. Archaeological remains. From the archaeological remains, we can assess the civilization of those period. For example, if how could we know the this Indus civilization or Sindhu civilization due to with the help of the archaeological remains. Due to these archaeological remains, we can assess the civilization of those periods, how they might have lived, how they might have lived, how they might practices in cultivation, how they might practice their civilization. All those we can know, we can able to know with the help of archaeological remains. So the knowledge about archaeology is also essential for ethnobotanical studies. Next one is botany. As you know, they chiefly rely on plants which are inhabited at their surroundings. The knowledge of plants, the knowledge about plants, that is phenological aspects of plants, is also very much required. Then ecology, ecological aspects are also essential to well understanding of ethnobotany. Economics, ecology and economics. Ecology what? So all ecological, both biotic and abiotic components, impact of biotic and abiotic components on their life and their cultures, as well as economics. Economics means to know their poverty or their economic status, or if you want to alleviate their poverty, and if you want to improve their revenue, or if you want to improve their economic status, you must know the main or basic principles of economics. And linguistics it is very much important. It's why they have each tribe each tribe have their own dialect. Dialect means their own language. You must know the linguistic. You must familiar with various languages or dialects. Dialect dialect which are practiced by specific tribal group. The dialect are specific for each tribal group. For example, Savara language. For example, Erukula language. The Savara language has its own dialect. It has own its script. Of course, up to in our district Savaras are the most primitive tribes in our district. Savaras, they don't have the script and language for so many years. In the starting of or in the middle of the 20th century, that is 1929, so on, middle of the 20th century, Gidugu Ramurthy Pantulu, you might have known. Gidugu Ramurthy Pantulu. He gave the script and language for Savaras. So this is the Savara language. And also Gadavas. And also other like Kondareddy, Shenchus, Lambadas, so many Naik ports, any other specific tribal group has their own language and dialect. scripts. So you must have the knowledge on linguistics. Then only you can understand easily, the ethnobotanical studies and medicine also. Medicine. So they practice their medicinal practices. You must have a basic ideas and basic knowledge on medicine. Then only you could know the the ethnobotanical studies. You can better understand the ethnobotanical studies. So this is the ethnobotany is presents a broad and fully interdisciplinary approach to the study of human evolution and use of materials and also primitive societies. So about use of materials in primitive societies, you must know how the primitive societies, how the environment and other influenced on the primitive societies. To know this much of extent, you must know knowledge of other branches also. So today, ethnobotany has become an important and crucial areas of research and development for the resource management and conservation of biodiversity. In order to conservation of biodiversity and resource management, ethnobotany has stands as one of the main area for research. Are you able to understand me? So, or on the other hand, the ethnobotanical research provides the way for the improvement of ethnic groups, for the development of ethnic groups, as well as to conserve the biodiversity and also to management of the natural resources. If we not go for ethnobotanical studies or researches, we cannot able to know the actual status of natural resources, the actual status of biodiversity at hill areas, forest areas, and so on. So ethnobotanical researches are useful to manage natural resources as well as conserve the biodiversity, ultimately to alleviate the poverty of ethnic groups. So in this connection, an all India coordination research project, an all India, you can write it, you can note it down, an all India coordination research project on ethnobotany ethnobotany was designed and launched in 1982 and completed this project in 1988 under MAB, initiated by Government of India. India. This project revealed, we will learn later. I shall repeat it. I want to repeat it. What is that project? What is that project? An All India Coordination Research Project. An All India Research Coordination Project on ethnobiology, not botany. Ethnobiology means both botany and zoology, that is both plants and animals. Ethnobiology was designed and launched. It was launched in 1982 and completed in 1988 under MAB. You know what is MAB? MAB. It is already you have learned in the paper 8A1. Man and Biosphere Project. which was designed and initiated by government of India, that is central government. And this project revealed that revealed means that came to know that about 7,500 plant species are used for medicinal purposes. That means all over the India, as per the as per the estimations of this project, that is Man and Biosphere project, which was initiated by the government of India under All India Coordination Research Project on ethnobiology. Ethnobiology means the study of both plants and animals in relation to tribal people. So this is the project under MAB, Man and Biosphere. According to this project revealed, this project came to know that 7,500 plant species are used as medicinal plants, are used in medicinal purposes. 7,500. Does all these 7,500 have documented? Does all these 7,500 plants have been documented? No. Till to date, there are 3 to 4,000 plant species, medicinal plant species have only documented. So others has to almost 50% of the medicinal plants in India have not documented so far. So among these 7,500 plant species, 1769, 1769, 1769 plants are being used in the Ayurveda system of medicine, in Ayurveda system of medicine, 1121, that is 1121 in Siddha system of medicine, 751, only 751 in Unani, in Unani, and about about 1600 plant species 1600 plant species are used in homeopathy system of medicine. So on, only 105 105 105 plant species can able to give clues can able to give clues for all chemosynthetic drugs chemosynthetic drugs which are known as allopathy system of medicine. In allopathy system of medicine, there are so many compounds and molecules, but only 105 medicinal plants can able to give clues for the preparation of chemosynthetic drugs in allopathic system of medicine. Hence, World Health Organization is wanted to explore the medicinal plant wealth, explore the medicinal plant wealth, and it assist the people, those who are going to research in medicinal plants, and they extend the financial assistance, and you can do the research because nearly 50% of medicinal plants have not documented so far. So medicinal plants have that much of importance in different traditional system of medicines in India. Some plants that we have not known till to date are also useful in chemosynthetic drugs, in the preparation of chemosynthetic drugs. Hence, the World Health Organization is wanted to explore the total plant wealth, the total medicinal plant wealth, and it gives the financial assistance for the research and development in medicinal botany, ethnomedicinal botany, and ethnobotany. So ethnobotany has this much of interrelevance interrelevance with other branches of science as well as humanities to develop the societies and to develop different races of the local people and to conserve the biodiversity and in order to manage natural resources. So this much of importance it the ethnobotany has. So from this uh, derive we can derive from this knowledge different folklores, different folklores, myths, myths, religious rites, taboos. These are all can be derived from the ethnic groups. Folklores means folklore. Folklore. Folklore means this is uh, the all the cultural aspects which are practiced by the tribal people. Those are in written. Are you able to catch my point? The cultures, the cultures, habitats, or other religious rites or religious beliefs, those who are in form of writings or in the form of literature is known as folklore. జానపద ఫోక్లోర్ అంటే జానపద మూలాలు, జానపద మూలాలు, జానపద మూలాలు. జానపద మూలాలు అంటే ఏమిటి? జానపద మూలాలు అంటే ఏమిటి? Folklore. What is meant by folklore? Folklore is nothing but is there any cultural evidences or religious evidences of different tribal races, if they preserved in the form of literature, are known as folklore. So from the folklore we can know so many of aspects about the tribal people. So in this way, you can see the other branches of ethnobotany. Other branches of ethnobotany. You can note it down one by one. The first branch of ethnobotany, ethnomedicobotany. Ethnomedicobotany. Ethno, you have to put a small hyphen, medico, botany. So ethnomedicobotany deals with the medicinal plants used by the tribal people. So this is one of the branch of ethnobotany. And the second one is ethnomycology. What is mycology? The study of fungal organisms is mycology. But ethnomycology means the fungal organisms that are used by the tribal people as food, or medicine or for any other purpose. The fungi may be used by the tribal people. The knowledge which provides that much of information, is comes under ethnomycology. Ethnomycology provides that the information about their hello uh, నాది ఎందుకు మ్యూట్లో ఉంటుంది నాయన? ఎస్. హలో, ఇప్పుడు వినిపిస్తుందా? మరేం చెప్పరు. ఎక్కడి నుంచి బ్రాంచెస్ ఆఫ్ ఇథనోబోటనీ? ది ఫస్ట్ వన్ ఈజ్ ఇథనో మెడికోబోటనీ. వినిపించిందా? ఇప్పుడు మరి అప్పుడే చెప్పాలా? అప్పుడే లెఫ్ట్ అయ్యానా? ఆహా! ఆహా! ఏదో చెయ్యి చెయ్యేదో తగిలిసుంటది. ఇప్పుడు సరిగ్గా ఇనిపిస్తుందా? ఇప్పుడు ఇప్పుడేంటంటే యూ పుట్ ఎ సైడ్ హెడ్డింగ్ ది బ్రాంచెస్ ఆఫ్ ఇథనోబోటనీ. We have know the interdisciplinary approach of ethnobotany so far. So ethnobotany his own approaches with other branches of science and humanities. But within the ethnobotany there are some branches. So branches of ethnobotany, you put side heading. The first one is ethnomedicobotany. Ethnomedicobotany. You have to put a small hyphen between ethno and medico. Ethnomedicobotany. So, what this branch of science deals? So, it deals with the medicinal plants that are used by the tribal people to cure different ailments. Not only plants, ethnomedicobotany, the plants and their produce and the use of medicinal plants, parts, and preparation of drug and doses of drug, treatment of drug, all will comes under ethnomedicobotany. But especially these practices are made by ethnic people only, that is tribal people only. So this branch of ethnobotany is known as ethnomedicobotany. వినిపిస్తుంది ఇప్పుడు క్లియర్గా? Right. And you can follow. The second one, ethnomycology. ETHNO, ethnomycology. You know what is mycology? Mycology is nothing but the study of fungi, fungal organisms. The fungal organisms which are used by tribal people. How they use? They use as food, or they use as medicine, or any other purpose. They use fungal organisms. For example, they prepare this narcotic substance, which what we know as gudumba or sara. That is one kind of beverage with yeast cells, with the use of other ingredients like jaggery and other. They will mix other substances, rice, sorghum, wheat, rye, they use, and they will produce some substances which they use during their happy moments and other occasions. For example, they directly eat different kinds of Basidiomycotina organisms. We eat only mushrooms, which are belongs to Basidiomycotina, but they use other type of mushrooms which are widely grown in forest areas. They also they eat. So this comes under ethnomycology. And the next one is ethnotaxonomy. What is taxonomy? Taxonomy is nothing but identification, nomenclature, and classification. So this ethnotaxonomy is very much required to an ethnobotanist. You must know the plant. You have to position. You must be a position to identify the plant that was practiced by the tribal people, and you have to give a specific name to that plant, and you have to give a sufficient place in the system of botany, that is in classification. So the ethnotaxonomy or taxonomic analysis is very much required by a ethnobotanist. So this is one of the branches of ethnobotany. And ethnoecology. You know what is ecology? So ecology is nothing but study of environment, including its structure and function, and the impact of this environment on ethnic people. All those will be covered. All those will be covered in this ethnoecology. Ethnoecology. And the next branch of ethnobotany is ethnoagriculture. You know, agriculture. Agriculture is nothing but cultivating crops. So, cultivating food crops or any other commercial crops or vegetable crops or even medicinal plant cropping. These are all comes under agriculture, especially made by the ethnic people. So these ethnic people is they have different type of knowledge in the field of agriculture. In the field of agriculture, they follow some other different types of methods. All these methods comes under this ethno agriculture. Also, they their diet, how what kind of diet they use, what crops are facilitating to them as protein and other foods. It also comes under ethno agriculture. Then ethnogynecology. Ethnogynecology. Gynecology, gynecology is nothing but the female reproductive organs and the next progeny and all those. Ethnogynecology. So uh, period of during this period, what are the measures to be taken, and also what contraceptives are used, what are the aphrodisiacs are to be used, what are the uh, other fertility or to infertility, how can we overcome the infertility, how can we achieve the fertility, all these gynecological problems and what kind of medicines are to be given to females. These are all comes under ethnogynecology. Ethnotoxicology. Next one is ethnotoxicology. What is meant by toxins? Toxins are nothing but poisonous substances. So ethnotoxicology. So toxins are collected. Some toxins are collected from plants also, which are used to deposit on the tips of the arrows, during the hunting, as well as they use some fish poisons during the fish hunting or during fishing. So these substances are poisonous to fish but not human beings. So whenever soon after they get that poison, they will go to unconscious, and he will go and catch the fish. He will go and catch the fish. Also, during hunting, he will deposit, he will apply some pastes in the form of pastes, some poisonous substances which are obtained from plants for hunting. So these animals, whenever the arrow is reached the animal, immediately it will be dies, and he will collect that animal later. So in this way, they collect the toxins. They collect the toxins. So that is known as toxicology, ethnotoxicology. Then ethnolycanology. What is lichen? One algal and another fungal partners. This is nothing but symbiosis. So these symbiotic organisms, lichens, are also widely used by tribal people in in, uh, uh, in the fields of dyings and colorings. Dyings means colorings. Also to prepare perfumes, and also in some medicines, and also some ornamentals, some ornamentals. They use these lichens. The lichens are used by the tribal people in dyeing, in preparation of perfumes, also in preparation of medicine, and also to prepare ornamentals. So such knowledge is comes under ethnolycanology. Ethnolycanology. And ethno narcotics, the next branch. Are you noted down all these branches? Are you writing or not? Okay, good. Next one, ethno-narcotics. NARCOTICS, narcotics. What are these narcotics? Narcotics is gives which narcotics అంటే నిషానిచ్చేటువంటి పదార్థాలు. ఏమిటి నిషానిచ్చేటువంటి పదార్థాలు? దీస్ ఆర్ ఆల్సో సమ్ దీస్ ఆర్ ఆల్సో సమ్ బెవరేజెస్ beverages like toddy. They collect toddies, eppasara, eppasara. That is the corolla or flower parts of Maduka indica. Maduka indica means eppa. Maduka indica eppa yokka flower lone corolla. Corolla means petals. These corolla dried petals are used to prepare some kind of toddy. TODDY, toddy. Toddy అంటే కళ్ళు. దాన్ని ఇప్పసార అంటారు. అలాగే దే కలెక్ట్ సమ్ సాప్ సాప్స్ ఫ్రమ్ మెరిస్టమాటిక్ టిష్యూ. ఫోయినిక్స్ సిల్వెస్ట్రిస్ ఈత కళ్ళు, బొరాసిస్ ఫ్లాబెల్లిపర్ తాడి కళ్ళు, తాటి చెట్టు నుంచి. అలాగే జీలుగా క్యారియోటా యురెన్స్ జీలుగా అంటారు. దే కలెక్ట్ ద మెరిస్టమాటిక్ sap from apical meristematic tissue, that is apical part of the tree. They collect from apical part of the tree. It is nothing but meristematic sap. So this sap is used as an ethno-narcotic. And also they prepare some uh, uh, narcotics like ganjai. All this they cultivate. These ganjai crops are also they cultivate opium, like opium. All this they will cultivate. They will use these narcotics during special occasions. Marriages, death ceremonies, and other happy moments and sorrow moments. Understand? The next branch of ethnobotany is ethnomusicology. Musicology. That means the plants and plant parts that are used in music or musical instruments, to prepare musical instruments. So they, or you may not be known. If you are aware of that tribal areas, they play some special music instruments prepared with only plant produce, with Borassis flabellifer or Millenia arbora. Millenia arbora అంటే గుమ్ముడు కర్ర. Millenia arbora, Borassis, or some bamboo sticks. They use some special type of musical instruments, or they will use some bunches of seeds and fruits. If you take in Srikakulam district, you can take this Mimosas member, the largest legume fruit. They will use it as a musical instrument. Also, they prepare musical instrument from the wood of different plant parts, which are easily they can prepare, and they will use those musical instruments during their occasions. Then what is the significance of ethnobotany? Also we must know what is the significance of ethnobotany. So these are the branches of ethnobotany. and you come to significance of ethnobotany. So it provides ethnobotany provides provides the knowledge that how these tribal people are using plants in agriculture and medicine. So this is the first significance. So for a human being, only two are many important. Um, s- two are very important. That is and health. Food and health. So both food and health is provided by plants to tribal people. This food and health is provided to tribal people by only plants. So this is the significance of, or you can say the shelter also. Feeding, breeding, shelter. These three are very essential for any human being. So these are provided to tribal people by only plants. So this is the first significance of the ethnobotany. So the next one, most of the plants are most of the plants are used by the tribal people in medicinal purposes. In medicinal purposes, when they used these medicinal purposes, these plants in medicinal purposes, they pave the way for us to know the active principles and pharmacological studies of those specific medicinal plants. For example, you can know quinone quinone is extracted from Cinchona officinalis. So when the ethnic people are used Cinchona officinalis for malarial fever, then only we came to know that some active principle is there in Cinchona officinalis. What is that active principle? Then research started. Then we came to know by researches and pharmaceutical analysis that Cinchona uh, is there, Cinchona officinalis, that quinine is there, and quinine is an alkaloid is there, and this due to this presence of this alkaloid, that malaria fever is cured. That when we came to know, so that the medicinal practices of ethnic tribes or ethnic groups, the medicinal practices of ethnic groups pave the way for the ethnomedicinal studies, pharmacological studies, for pharmacognosy, and the development of pharmaceutical industries. Pharmaceutical industries. You can know the this Nalavemu, Androgapis paniculata. For this instance, the Androgapis paniculata, Nalavemu antam, Androgapis paniculata, is widely used by the ethnic people. Now, this Androgapis paniculata is widely used by modern people also to cure different viral fevers. Different viral fevers. Initially, initially the tribal groups are used this Androgapis paniculata to cure one or two diseases. But we came to know that this Androgapis paniculata is useful to cure so many types of so many types of viral fevers. So data, this kind of data is acquired from the ethnobotanical studies only. Later, by the analysis of these ethnobotanical studies, other branches have developed. Other branches have developed. So that the studies of ethnobotany are very much significant. So this is the second significance. And the third one is most of the most of the active principles are crude drugs have invented have invented only on the basis of ethnobotanical studies which were made in the 20th century. In the 20th century, vast ethnobotanical studies are there at international and national and local level. There are so many ethnobotanical studies are available in 20th century. From these studies we could know, we could synthesize so many active principles such as reserpine. Reserpine is the active principle in Rauwolfia serpentina. Reserpine. Quinine, already know Cinchona officinalis, quinine. Ephedrine in ephedra. Ephedrine. Cocaine. Hemetin. Digitoxin in digitalis purpurea. Digitoxin. These are all were invented in 18th century only due to ethnobotanical studies that are available. Only due to the availability of ethnobotanical studies we could have invented so many active principles like reserpine, quinine, ephedrine, cocaine, digitalis. So these are the some of the active principles which are invented from the plant species based on ethnobotanical studies. That much of significance it has. Are you understand? So this is the interdisciplinary approach and significance of ethnobotany. What is the today's class? We have learned today. We have learned about ethnobotany as interdisciplinary approach and the significance of ethnobotany. That is the today's class.